Okay, here we go. We are going to build a histogram using pivot tables. Now, I'm going to use that data that we used for the first homework about the football players, the NFL.xlss, which is from actually the first chapter, but that's okay. Data is data, and besides, I don't want to do your homework for you. Okay, so how do we get started? Well, let's go up here to Insert, and from Insert, we are going to pick Pivot Table, but now instead of going with Pivot Table, we're going to go with a Pivot Chart. Now, for the data range, go ahead and click in that little box right there and pick, say, rating. Now go ahead and pick the title with that because it doesn't hurt and it sometimes can help. So we'll go pick that up. Oops. Let's go fix that. There we are. And when we have that, click there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this pivot table and chart into the same existing worksheet, but when we do, we have to pick a location for this. So in order to pick the location, I'm going to go down and say put it over here with that one click. That's where this thing is going to show up, which is in what? About I-10 or so, and then we click OK. Now, what we have showing up here is you'll see in this right hand side where it says rating. If we had not picked the title, it would have taken the first entry and used that as the name. So why do that when we can use rating and actually know what it is that we're doing? Okay, so we need to take rating and drive it down to access field. Take the same thing and drive that down to sum of values. We now actually have a table started over here, but let's go and sort of clean this up. So in order to get started, we'll go down to count of rating, click on that, value field settings, and count. Sometimes it starts somewhere else, and believe me, you want it on count, so just get in the habit of doing that. So it's on count. From there, we go to the pivot table report. And to find the pivot table report, let's scroll down. Here it is. Here's our pivot table report. We go to one of these row labels and just click on it. Now, when you right click, we're looking for group and ungroup. I've already grouped this data once, so I'm just doing this again to point out what needs happening. Now, the auto grouping gives you a start and end number, which gives you the high and low in the data set. However, you might want to adjust that slightly for even numbers. For instance, say you were doing the SAT thing, you might want to start with a rounded number like 750 rather than 782 or something that might be the actual low number in the data set. Instead, round it out to something that makes sense. Here, since our ratings do go from 5 to 9, that's fine. A rating group, this by number at 1 is also fine, so let's click OK. Now we're going to go back and find our chart, which we left up here. There it is. Click on that again. Now, when we do that, let's go up here to design because we're going to make it look pretty. Actually, we're going to make it look like a real histogram. So we go to these chart layouts in the middle, scroll down to the bottom so we get all these pictures. Now, number 8 here is the one that's a nice, clean, true histogram. So click on that, and it will give us all this pretty stuff. Now, if you go down to your chart again, let's start cleaning this up. For instance, double click on total. You have to double click. And then you can put the title in it that you want. Well, this happens to be NFL ratings. I don't even know what the ratings are for. I'm not a football type, but NFL ratings. Go down here to access and double click on that. And then we can change that title to actual rating. And then this side one we also double click on, which seems weird, but it will type it horizontally or vertically for us, so that's okay. And this is a frequency, so we're fine there. Then all you have to do is click somewhere to finish it off. Now if you want to drag it, just make sure that you have the whole thing together. Drag it to wherever you want in your answer sheet. You can go anywhere. Label it, you're good to go. Alright, that's how it's done. Pretty, huh?